Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It's the Christmas edition of Friday Night Lights, which is on a Saturday. Sorry about that. But I'm with my good friends, the great Swame Odell Blocker and Willie Walls, who we see in perfect lighting, perfect audio and visual. I mean, you are a very handsome man here at Christmas. How you doing, Willie?
Doing fine. Just here for my partner's mother passed, so here in Boston, but we've had a good time reading out of it a little bit, and his wife has been they've been gracious to me, so I've had a great time here. And I got a flat tire, which is unimpressive, so I'm waiting to get that fixed so I can go home, to be at my house. Anyway, we're going to talk about that.
You fix your own flat tire, or are you calling AAA?
AAA. No, I can't. It can't be repaired, and the new cars now, you don't have spares. So, you don't have spares, even though I got one at home, but it's not doing me no good when I'm 390 miles away, So anyway, it is what it is.
So I will not be changing any tires on the road. Are you one of those people who is handy that way?
Doc, I promise you I won't be changing any tires. Those have gone, especially on Christmas Eve. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
All right, so Swame's not fired up to help you.
Hey, shout out to Swame for keeping me up as I was driving down here, because I drove down because the funeral was Friday morning at 11. So him and his uncle, they kept me up because I drove down at 10:07 at night, and trust me, it was a struggle bus, but I got here, thanks to Swame, make sure I was good, man. And they were tired the next day. They both were messed up.
I'm still recovering. Not no next day.
That is friendship. That is friendship at its finest. All right, that is the holiday friend. That's the holiday spirit, guys. All right, let's get right to it. Let's get to the games here. Cleveland against Houston. Joe Flacco has been masterful. David Njoku looks like Tony Gonzalez and John Mackey rolled into one, Willie. Tell me about this game. Amari Cooper's in a good spot. Are you in on the Browns?
I am in on the Browns. Number one, we're playing where? Indoors. Love it. No weather. Okay, number two, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you my stack. This is my stack. Flacco going to Cooper and Njoku. That's my stack in this game. And I love it because it's not breaking the bank. Number two, you throwing to two guys that in the last two games has got over 22 targets. Both of them. 22 targets to where they are weak at. Listen, love this stack. Love Flacco this week. Listen, it's a thing. I know it's pain and Swami with Mr. Flacco, but yes, I love Mr. Flacco. And if you want to run him back with Singletary, you can. But I have another back who I like a lot. That's from Carolina. That's got over 24 touches going against a team that's giving up 5.1 yards per rushing attempt. Who I like in this slate. So, like I said, love the three combination, and it doesn't break the bank.
I wrote it down, Willie. If you said it, I wrote it down. Swami, are you in agreement with Willie? Flacco, you know what? He's put up, 7 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks? Houston is good on defense. Last week they were very good, but it is a game. Houston sometimes is susceptible to a bad game. Do you think Cleveland-Houston could blow up?
Doc, as always, I usually recuse myself from Joe Flacco conversation and analysis, and for good reason as a Ravens fan. But I will say this, from a DFS perspective, he's played well. He's obviously that old Flacco has showed up in critical moments, especially when I've needed him to, and Jerome Ford only needed a catch for me to advance in the playoffs, and he couldn't make it happen. And then last week when we could have used. But anyway, I digress, Doc. I think he's a decent play this week. I think in him and Njoku have been, they've been rolling. They got something going. I think Cooper has started to come along. So I think for that reason, just like Willie said, it's all signs point to going back to those guys. I feel like if we do that 2 tight end thing you were saying, Doc, I think Njoku could be in flex as well. So I'm not mad at that at all.
I like the idea of 2 tight ends this week. I'll also say this. 1, Nico Collins could play. Nico Collins against man coverage is tremendous, and nobody's going to have him this week. Nobody. You might be the only guy. I know Brown was sensational last week, so I don't think Case Keenum is bad, and I'll have no problem running it back with one of those guys, but I think that's a very sneaky stack, Willie, and people are missing out if they don't play. All right, Carolina against Green Bay. I know Willie's got it. I mean, if it's not Chuba Hubbard, I'll be the most shocked guy on planet Earth, Swame. I like Chuba. Now, Swami, let me say one other thing to you. Trevor Hillstrom has said to me that the Packers, the staff, the coaching staff, and the players are not seeing eye to eye. He's having a feeling that the Packers are going to dog it out there and dog it defensively, and Carolina is going to actually be better this week than people think. Can you buy into this game as a potential game that could be a little better than people think?
Doc, I think this year more than any year, because we've seen so many anomalies, I think more of that type of stuff is starting to creep in, where we're almost willing to make any scenario kind of fit or kind of make sense based on some narrative. And we have to remember, the eyeball test and what we're seeing on the film and what we're seeing on the field. And there's no reason to get excited about Carolina. We just got to bring ourselves in. I get it. I see why everybody kind of now wants to come up with, well, hey, this happened, so this could happen. But Carolina's just not playing well enough for us to get behind them. Hubbard, I think Chuba's in a good spot, but I don't necessarily, I wouldn't say Carolina. I think I've even heard some folks talking about Thielen, all the time he spent in Minnesota. Now him, Green Bay's a familiar foe for him. I just can't endorse it. I see where they're trying to go, but on film it says a no-go for Carolina. On the other side of the ball, you could maybe talk me into playing, the Green Bay side of it, but no thanks.
Willie, I know you like Chuba Hubbard. Tell me everything about him. Why you love him.
I think he's going to be part of the core. Listen, you got to like somebody that's this last 3 games, they have no interest of winning or whatever. You can see they don't care about the score of the game. It doesn't matter. This boy touches the ball 24 times, and then you're going against a defense to give up 5.1 yards per carry. I'm interested. 5,700, yes. I like Hubbard a lot. I don't like the rest of Carolina. I'm talking about just Chuba Hubbard as a one-off.
What about Jayden Reed, guys? What about Dontavian Wicks? What about Aaron Jones? Any interest in any of those guys, or are we just saying pass?
I think Carolina's defense has been better than, their secondary is they got their guys back. They've been better. So, honestly, this game right here, besides Hubbard for me, is a pass.
Okay. I'm with you. I think Hubbard's a great play. Hubbard is a great play. I don't even care about ownership. I'm playing Hubbard. He's in my lineups. If I lose, I lose. That's how I feel about it. All right. Washington at the Giants. Oh, man. The Jets, excuse me. Swami, you were dead on with McLaurin last week. You had him. Do you like anybody in this game? Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, anybody that plays in a Commander's uniform, or is this poo-poo on a stick?
I like the Jet side of it. Doc, when I talked on the show about not sure at the quarterback position, I should have mentioned this one as well, because I'm curious to know if the Commanders, what they're going to do after that, that 3.5 drives that I think Brissett was able to put together. Are they going to go back with the guy somebody called Mahomes anyway? Or are they going to, maybe let Brissett get back in there? And I think that would make me a little bit more interested in somebody for the Commanders. But right now, I don't think I have any interest there. Very little bit in Gibson. But after they had him sharing, most of the carries, I was like, eh. And then, on the other side, I think Wilson's in a good spot. But you just don't know how the Jets are going to go. They got this quarterback carousel thing that they got going on. I think it's some interest in Garrett from a matchup perspective. The Commanders have been kind of down. And I think Willie showed a little interest in Brees Hall, and I think he's a man of interest for me.
Willie, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, any of your Commanders, or is this a stay? If he'll stay away.
Brees Hall, I do have an interest in. I like the Jets defense. Yeah, I'm playing them in season long, against this Commanders team. But Brees, listen, I know he stunk the last game. Man, they've given up 20 points, multiple 20-point games to back, 30 points to backs. They've been giving up towards that. Plus, the one thing that if Wilson has to play, one thing he does do is he dumps it off to Brees Hall a lot. So, and they also give up passes to the back. So,
I don't think Zach Wilson's not playing this week.
Wilson is out.
Oh.
It's Simeon.
Damn. But I'm still going to take a shot with Brees because their run defense sucks. So, but damn, I hope Simeon dump it down. But anyway, I do have interest in Brees Hall. I have interest.
All right, you guys you mentioned the Jets defense. I would think they're going to be at least 30% owned. That's a big number. I don't want to buy into 30% of the Jets, Willie. I know they're a good play. Are you going to play them?
No. Season long. I said season long. Okay.
Well, not in DFS.
Yeah, I don't even know what the price is in DFS. I'm pretty sure they're priced up. Huh?
3,100.
I think Carolina's defense like 2,400 or something like that. I like somebody like that better than I would the Jets. I'm talking about season long.
Okay. Swame, do you like the Jets D at 3,100? Are you going to be a chalk donkey and jump on that one?
I think so because I think I'm not talking about the normal matchup that I talk about, but I think the matchups in this game, I think they favor what the Jets do well. And I think for that reason, they can kind of pressure the quarterback. They can cover on the back end. So they're going to be tough for the Commanders.
All right, let's get to Detroit and Minnesota. I think this is a pretty good game here, guys. Here's my fear in this game, Willie. Jared Goff is going to see a lot of blitzing. I don't think he's nearly as good against the blitz as he is when he has time. Now, if the Detroit Lions, that offensive line can protect him, I think he can pick them apart. But there's so many guys in play here. Laporta's in play. I would argue Josh Reynolds and Jameson Williams are in play. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Montgomery, Gibbs on the other side. Mullins was fantastic. Chandler was special. Justin Jefferson's at 8,100. They're practically giving him to you. And TJ Hawkinson is arguably one of the top 3 tight ends in the league. Is this a game you're going to stack, or is this just better to watch because there's so many options here?
I like the lower owned facet of this game because, number one, I was all on the running back from Minnesota, but not against Detroit. They're better against the run, so therefore I'm not interested in that back, Chandler. Now, the guy that I am interested in more than anybody in this game is Jameson Williamson. I'm very interested in him. I'm interested in that price that he has and what Minnesota does. They do a lot of blitzing. And I think they're going to be throwing a lot. I think they're going to be going when they blitz. I think they got special packages for Jameson Williamson. What I was really encouraged by was he had 7 targets in his last game. And I think this is the perfect defense for his skill set, for what they do. And when they blitz, just like you saw with T. Higgins, that past week, I think they could get burnt by Williamson. I do like Williamson a lot. I like Williamson a lot, and I do like Jefferson. I think this is an interesting spot for Jefferson with Mullins because the way you beat, how do you beat Detroit? You beat them by the pass. It's not about a run. You beat them by the pass. Now, I'm not going to be as interested as other people in this game because I like other games a little bit better. But I am definitely interested because I am definitely not going back to Laporta. After that 3-touchdown game, right there, no thank you. I got 2 more tight ends I like better than Laporta this week. But Jameson Williamson is my guy from this game for Detroit.
Swami, I mentioned the same thing. Jameson Williams is in a good spot. Now, could you correlate him with Jefferson? Will you just play him or Reynolds? You mentioned Reynolds. I think people overlook Josh Reynolds a little bit. Or is this a game that you're just worried that maybe this could be the Goff stinker of 212 yards and 1 touchdown?
I think I play Venus or Serena Williams before I play Jameson Williams. Not sure what you guys are seeing there. I have very little interest in this game. Jefferson, I get it. Folks are excited about Addison. I think this might be one of those division kind of slug fest. I have probably more interest in Greg Joseph and the Vikings defense than I do most of these offensive players. If you Jefferson, I think, has the best matchup, but again, him and that quarterback haven't really shown us anything, and I'm cautious about playing up for anybody who we don't think is in a smash spot. You can make an argument maybe for Gibbs. You can make an argument for Jameson or Williams, but I'm not interested in any of those arguments, and for that reason.
Does Mrs. Swame know that you want to play with Serena Williams? All right, I'm just asking.
Serena Williams is not a bad person to play with.
Just throwing it out there. All right.
The cheeks. She got some cheeks.
Seattle against Tennessee. My man Trevor Hillstrom, trust in Trevor. He mentioned, Willie, that he kind of likes Geno to DK. Do you like Geno to DK? Do you like Geno to Lockett? Do you like Geno? Do you like Kenneth Walker? Do you like Derrick Henry? What do you like in here, if anything?
I'd rather play. I'm not playing Geno, man. I get it, man. Listen, Geno could pull a hamstring in a second, and Drew Lock be in there. Listen, they got me anyway on that last game, the Rascals, when I put Geno in when I saw he was active and then he ain't play. Man, you know what? It's a great play, but y'all can have this game. No, thank you on this game.
Swami, I know you like this game a little bit. I like this game in that nobody's looking at this game. This is the game that you pass over, but I'm not sure it's a great game. What are your thoughts?
Now, this is a game that I think is a little bit sneakier, and I'm giving this one a second look. My first impression of this game is I think Hopkins and Lockett are men of interest. You look a little further, and then I think that DK and maybe the running backs would be very interesting. I definitely like Walker. So if this game can have a little bit of back and forth, I'm not sure. I think Levis is supposed to play right now, but there was some concern about him and if he would go.
No, he's not. Asa Hill is a quarterback.
Are you sure about that? Is that 100%?
From the last thing I look at, I don't think it looks good for him to quarterback.
He did have a limited practice. He is officially questionable.
So I think this game could be very interesting. I think that would mean that, maybe a Kongwu, maybe Hopkins. I'm not sure. I'm not as down on Tannehill as some folks. I don't think that Levis was a huge, he wasn't much better. So these guys would all still be in play for me. I got a lot of interest.
Tannehill hasn't been good since that playoff game. I think he's still going to therapy for that one. Tell me.
Doc, what happens when you give all of the talent away is what you see. I don't care what quarterback it is. If you let those kind of guys go and you bring in nothing, you bring in me and Willie, good luck.
No, it's true. It's totally true. I'm with you. All right. Indianapolis and Atlanta. This game has some sneak factor. Vegas says it's 44.5, which seems like a big number when you have Taylor Heineke going up against Gardner Minshew. Right, so it just feels like, what does Vegas know that we don't know? Now, I'm going to throw out some plays I think are interesting. Jonathan Taylor's in play. All right, no doubt. Michael Pittman, I expect to play. I think Josh Downs is sneaky. On the other side, I think Bijan Robinson is going to have a better week. I don't think it can be worse. I don't think Bijan can be worse than he's been. Drake London, all number one receivers do well against Indianapolis. Swami, are you buying into anything I'm selling?
Not just no, Doc, but hell no. I don't want none of these jokers. Cheeks. I think they all stink. And I tried to convince myself that maybe Drake London. I'm definitely not convincing myself for nobody else. And you know why? You know the biggest reason why, Walls, is because these two teams play a little bit of defense. And they play less offense than they do defense, both teams. Bijan crossed my mind. Pittman, the way that he's been playing that connection, crossed my mind. And they all kept on going, Doc. No, thank you. I'll let Walls have this one.
So Bijan went like this. Bijan. Just it's funny, right or wrong.
As long as they got Arthur Smith back there, Mr. Astermine, I am not interested in these guys. I don't know what he's going to do. Yes, season long, play both of them. You got to in season long, which I do, and it's terrible. I feel bad about it. But in order for me to move on, I hope the backs do something. In terms of DFS, no. Hell no. I think both defenses are better than what you're going to face with the quarterbacks. No, thank you. And I agree. You said Herbert, if what's name is out of that game, I got definite interest in Herbert if Foreman is out in this game against Arizona. I agree. Good call.
Foreman
is the first matter right now.
Did y'all switch teams?
No. We switched games. I put a thing on here from Latham. All right, we'll get to that.
I was agreeing with him. He just
went out. You went out of order for Swame. He likes order. Brother. Come on, the military man. He needs order at all times. Thanks. All right, you got it. All right, let's get to Jacksonville at Tampa Bay. I love Tampa Bay this week, guys. I love Tampa Bay. Jacksonville's pass defense has been awful. You've got Baker, who people still don't appreciate. Mike Evans feels like he's due for another big game there. Cade Otton, nobody wants to play. The dude's 3,200. Rashad White is the most expensive running back on the slate, but he's only 7,400 when we've seen Christian McCaffrey be 9,500. So, Swami, are we getting a deal here? Are we bringing you back with Ridley, or are we bringing you back with another receiver?
I think, Doc, I like this game a lot as well. If Trevor Lawrence plays. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, then I got to put a little bit of an asterisk next to it. And the reason why is because CJ, we don't quite know what we get. But with him in there, man, this could be a great game. I'm talking about it'll be a track meet, Doc. If you can get up to it, go. Because that will be a fun one to watch if Lawrence plays. I think if he doesn't, it makes me feel like we might not get the back and forth that we need in the game. But if he's in there, I like ETN. I think he's in a good spot. Obviously, I like Mayfield. I think Ingram's in a good spot. I already mentioned Parker Washington. I think Evans, Otten, and Godwin. So what does that take? We like the ball. And then when White is the guy who's bringing up the rear, Ridley, I think, is okay from a matchup perspective, but because of his price, I would even include him in that mix, like the game.
Willie, do you pay up for Rashad White this week, or at 7,400, it's a little too much against Jacksonville, who's been good against running backs?
I think he's a play regardless. I mean, but he's not one of my cores this week. I think I'm doing more of the pay down this week. For running back, but you can interest me in Mike Evans. I think Oden is a very sneaky play. Jacksonville in the last 2 weeks has given up over 20 points to the tight end. And I think Oden, he hasn't been anything spectacular. And even though, like I said, he's not going to be a core, but I think he does have the, with Baker stacks, I think he works with Mike Evans and Oden. I like pairing those two together, to do that. But
because of that reason, Doc, White becomes a play more in the passing game. If you look at a lot of the work that he's been doing, it's been him and James Cook have been feasting on these routes going down the field, up the seam, a lot of screens. So it's not just, him running the ball. They got him involved in the passing game. And guess what? You got to cover Godwin and Mike Evans. So a lot of times, he's the person getting the rock and making the most out of it.
No, Swami, I have White in almost all my seasonal leagues. My only problem is if you look at the numbers, and this has been crazy, he's recently 2-3-2-2. He's maximized his receptions, but he's not getting 6 and 7 receptions. Is this the game where he gets 6 and 7 receptions?
With Lawrence in there, a little bit back and forth, maybe. But he's also the guy who, because of play calling, the way that they're scheming and drawing things up, which is always a bonus, he's getting it done, right? That's a testament to the right calls at the right time. The screen, when the defense isn't thinking screen, and what do you know? He makes a move, make a guy miss, he's in the end zone. The right play, now he's splitting the safeties and he's going in. I'd take the right plays at the right time than I would a bunch of, check down Charlie stuff.
I'm gonna disagree on that because it's gonna regress. You can't always be that efficient. You're gonna need the thing that you also need is targets, and targets. Somebody, I will take somebody that is good, that's getting 9 targets over somebody that's efficient that get 3 targets, because it's not gonna always run hot like that.
But he's getting
think Rachaad White,
he's getting touches.
I do like
by getting 3 targets. He's a guy involved in the offense. He's just getting.
I get what you're saying, but it's also still about targets. A certain amount of targets mean a certain amount of points. So you can't forget that.
Rachaad gets 2 targets. Look, I watch him because I have him in all my leagues. He gets like 2 or 3 targets, and he scores touchdowns on them. I want 5 or 6 targets. They seem to be going more to Godwin and more to Evans, and they're not looking to White as much as I think they should.
And the reason I say that, because his price is going up every slate. You understand what I'm saying? He's,
but we can't just apply this wide receiver logic. He's still getting 21 carries, 25 carries, and 20 carries to go with that. His touches are tremendous. So please not talk about him like he's some receiver.
I don't know. Listen. I disagree with you, or I disagree on. I think Jacksonville's defense is okay. But I think you can run on Jacksonville.
Why against the pass?
Yeah, but
not against the pass. They're better against the run.
But I want you to acknowledge the 25 carries that go along with.
Oh no, I'm not. Listen, I play White. I'm just saying his price is rising up. That's my only point. But Jacksonville is better against the run than the pass. So they might be doing more passing in this game. That's the only point. I don't like his targets he get in this thing.
What Tampa does, it's a lot like Green Bay used to do. Tampa will run the ball to White, even if he can get 21 carries for 58 yards. Even if he's not doing anything, they just give him the ball. What I want to see is 16 carries and 7 targets. If I see 16 carries and 7 targets, White's worth 7,400. If I see 21 carries and 2 targets, he's not.
No, because Swami, what you're not taking in consideration, get him in space. I bet you if the San Francisco coordinator had this dude, he will give him a minimum 9 targets. You put White in space, man. White is even better than what he is.
No, Doc. That 15, I know those games you're talking about. His last 4 games, he's rushed for over 100 yards in 2 of the games. He scored 3 rushing touchdowns. He's had almost 90 yards in one and 84 in the other one. These rules don't apply to him in this offense. His usage is where it needs to be. You're talking about in general. I'm talking about White. He's getting it done. And look at this.
We're not saying he's not getting it done, but what we're saying is a regression. You're not going to always score like that. You need the targets, though. That's what we're saying.
When the offense
you can't just live on 2 targets and you keep raising his price up.
You listen. Look at the slate. You keep talking about his price. There's no McCaffrey on this slate. There's nobody else to play. This thing is paper thin. You have to take it all into consideration, not just looking at these things in a silo. He is playing well, and almost nobody else is. He's getting the touches. He has the usage, and the offense is playing well. He's a man of interest.
I'm not saying he's not.
What I'm seeing right here.
Bust too.
All right, but White is going to be, as of right now, what I'm seeing, the most accurate numbers, about 22% owned. It's a little heavy.
That's
A little heavy at 22.
That's a little heavy. I think I don't have that. That's real heavy. I don't know if I don't.
That's the projections I see here. The ones I trust the most.
Yeah,
Have him at about 22.
That's fine. I didn't have him at 1 out of 4 walls. I don't know if you got to hold that much.
No, I don't. I mean, because I'm, but he's a play.
I could be wrong. But the projections here are pretty. They could be off a little bit. But let's say it's 18. You still want him at 18%?
No, sir. No,
right.
No.
All right. Let's get to Arizona and Chicago. This game, I think, has some nuclear possibilities here. Justin Fields is in a spot. DJ Moore is in a spot. I think Lathan is right. I think Khalil Herbert, if Foreman is out, but not if Foreman plays, I wouldn't touch it. Darnell Mooney could make a big catch downfield. For the other side, Trey McBride is going to be in the middle of the field catching passes all game long. And I think James Conner, super sneaky in these cold weather games. He shows up. Willie, are you buying into either team this weekend? I like the Bears defense too.
Yeah, no. Bears defense is always interesting to me, but I'll tell you, the stack that I like the most in this game. Now I will play. If Herbert, like I said, if Foreman is out, I'm gonna have Herbert in most of my lineups. So I'll tell you that right now. I love Justin Fields in this game. This is finally a Justin Fields game. And I will have DJ Moore in every lineup that I make this week. He's a lock button. Okay. Justin Fields, DJ Moore, and it's a great run back with McBride. Middle of the field, that's how you beat Chicago. I love McBride. That's why I do like the two tight end sets this week with Njoku and McBride. But I love those parents right there. I love Justin. I think he's going to run against Arizona. I mean, Fields is going to have a field day. He's finally going to feel like he's been that because he's going to get some rough defenses the last few weeks. But this is the matchup for Fields against Arizona. And you could run back, like I said, McBride is my favorite run back, but I'm not ashamed of Michael Wilson. I'm not afraid of that. I think that's okay. I mean, James Conner's been, he's, I don't know. I don't know about James Conner, but definitely McBride is a man of interest to me. And I love DJ Moore is going to be in all my lineups. And I do like Mooney. Mooney is a play too.
Mooney's in play. If you're looking, he's like that Jameson Williams. He can boom with one big play because Arizona's not paying attention and he's catching a bomb there. Swame, I think when we're looking at the lineup that's winning $1 million, if we did an optimal lineup simulation, if we went to the Sims, I think Justin Fields and DJ Moore and McBride, that stack is popping all over the place. Are you in or out?
Doc, not just no, but hell no, Doc. Doc, I started to wear a couple of eye patches in here today. And not because I didn't see James Cook being able to do that against the Cowboys, but that's one of the reasons. It was mostly because of the referees. And last time I tried to get my public service announcement, you guys poo-pooed all over it. And then I showed Willie. I said, did you see the play, Doc, with Calvin Ridley in the back of the end zone, and they made up that goofy little narrative about, we got to go with the call on the field. It was exactly what I was talking about. You say, Swami, what does that got to do with this game? It has everything to do with it because I've only missed on one of these plays all year, and it was Mr. James Cook. And what I'm talking about is there's no way I'm locking in any of the aforementioned. No way. The only ones that I'll consider in this game are the tight ends. So it's week 16. I'm exactly 1-15. James Cook has broke the streak. When I tell you, stay away from this goofy scenario of locking these guys in.
Why? I don't see it, Doc. I don't like these guys that much. I just don't. I don't see it. I cannot. There's no way that they haven't, like Fields coming with 11 points in Cleveland, you'll say they tough. 12 points in Minnesota, you'll say they tough. He had 2 games against Detroit, all tough, all kind of tough division. Hey, what's going on, Dan? All tough kind of division games except for Cleveland. And now this week you got Arizona. And it's like, hey, how has Arizona been playing?
Arizona's been playing, other than San Francisco, a little bit. They gave up to the Rams. They gave up to San Francisco, two offenses that play well. Pittsburgh and Houston, and I think that Chicago's somewhere more close to the Pittsburgh-Houston game. I don't see the points here, guys. I just don't. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be 2-15.
Look, is it me or does Arizona let other opposing quarterbacks do well against Arizona week in and week out?
They get lit up. They get lit up. Arizona, they get lit up. I disagree. Listen, I'm gonna have DJ Moore in every lineup that I have on DraftKings as well as FanDuel. I think I'm telling you, I think Fields might have 30 points in this game.
Who lit him up? Who lit him up?
I saw somebody light him up last week.
Brock Purdy,
Joe Flacco, Willie Walls, everybody lights him up.
Purdy, potential MVP kind of candidate, maybe one of the best offenses in the league. Matthew Stafford, one of the best offenses in the league, a lot of weapons. And then you got a lot of folks who maybe didn't do so well against them. So that's why I've asked who. And they play well and tough in those games. We can throw out Pittsburgh, maybe. Say y'all don't like the 10 points that they put up. Let's throw that out.
No, you can't. You can't look at Pittsburgh in there. Come on, man. You can't look at Pittsburgh.
Bears are much closer to Pittsburgh than they are San Francisco. Much closer. So
Swame, I'm looking here, okay? Purdy lit him up. Pickett stinks. Stafford lit him up. C.J. Stroud lit him up. Heineke stinks. Deshaun Watson lit him up. Lamar Jackson was not great.
Right. So
that was the week. That was the week that Gus Edwards scored like 8 touchdowns.
Right. Baltimore still had 30 points. But we're talking about the teams that are playing well and offenses with a lot of weapons and a lot of threats that were balanced, right? And now we're talking about a team that cannot, meaning the Bears have not demonstrated the ability to be able to run the ball. They have sputtered along passing, and the only highlight has been more.
And it's going to be cold.
Yeah, all reasons to not love this game.
No, that's why I like him even more. You got a team that's a dome team coming out. I think Justin Fields is going to have a game. I mean, I think Justin Fields Fields has a possibility to throw for 2 touchdowns and run for 2 touchdowns. That's how much I like Justin Fields in this game.
Look, if I play 3 lineups, which I do, I have to have one that's Justin Fields. Have to. Because when I look at the slate and I say to myself, who is the nuclear 30-point quarterback? How many quarterbacks on this slate hit 30?
That's if you put me in the who has the potential to go to 30, it would be Fields, and I think it would be and that's based on his potential. But I think when I look at these numbers, is this: Arizona ranked 9th, allowing only 214 yards passing in the last 9. Ranked 1st, only allowing 28 attempts in the last 9. They're allowing 27% less attempts went away. I'm talking about the stats are against him. He doesn't.
I'm going back to my original question. Tell me the quarterback on this slate. And look, I like Baker as much as you do. I do. But what is Baker going to put? 260 and 3? That's still what? 25 points. Only Fields is a 30-point nuclear option. He's a nuclear football.
Not have that type of game that he had last week.
If you told me who could go for 30 on this slate, for me it would be Fields, Prescott, and maybe Baker. I don't.
So then, why isn't Fields a play in this game? Then that don't make sense.
Just because I feel like he's the only person. It speaks more to the rest of the slate being poo-poo, not him. Me thinking.
Yes, agreed. And that's why McBride is in play, because how many tight ends can go for 20? So if you have Fields and McBride, you're looking at a potential of 50 points right there. I'm not saying you're getting it, but how many other combinations like that get you 50?
Right, but Fields hasn't thrown for more than 1 touchdown in his last 4 games, and he's got more, I think, probably interceptions.
Look at his matchup. Look at his matchups he had going against tougher defenses.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody
All right.
else.
We respect you, Swami. You know we love you. And if you say no, I'm listening to you, right? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, man, it feels really clear to me that this guy's in a nut matchup.
Something feels like he'll score. I believe he'll score. I believe the Bears are probably still favorite for me and others to win. I just don't know if this feels like a 40-point game, a 30-point game. It feels like he'll come somewhere around 18. That's what it feels
All
like.
right. Let's get to this last game here. Dallas and Miami. This is a 50-point spot here. I'm telling you, I think Tyreek Hill shows up. It's Christmas Eve. He don't want to play. He's want people to watch him. Willie, there's a lot of points in this game, but there's a lot of high salaries in this game. Dak, Tua, Chan, Mostert, Lamb. I can't see how I get any of these guys in my lineup. I just don't know how I can afford them. Tell me if you like the game and tell me if you pay up.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said that if you use the Flacco combination, at that price point, then you could get some players in this game. Because what's not going to happen is I don't think Dak is going to have another game like he had. I mean, Dak had a horrible game, So now, if you ask me, am I paying up for Dak in this slate? No, I think I could get better value in other places. And I agree with you. They're prices, but I do like one-offs. I do like, Lamb in this spot. I think Moser is in an interesting spot because I think one thing that people might start doing is if especially when you run ahead, you could run against Dallas. So I think, people might start, how people copy and paste, stuff that happens. So I do think there are plays in this game, but I'm with you. I'm not going to game sack this game. I'm not, because I don't think I respect both defenses too much to game sack this game. I'll be honest with you, but I'm just saying there's going to be pieces like pieces like Ferguson is a good play in this. Like this would be like a Ferguson type of game or something like that. I think it could be the other receivers that might do it that you can play. So that's what I think you got to look at in this game. But I am not liking if you stack Lamb and you stack Hill, you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money left. So I mean, I agree. Those prices are absorbent, but I like pieces of this game. But this is not going to be my main game I stack because I think the prices are real. And I think I respect both defenses more than what these prices are showing.
Swami, I feel like this game could go off because these two defenses could be good, but we've seen these two defenses be bad. And when these guys, it just feels like Dallas is going to play better this week, and Miami's always in play to put up 27 points, but they've let Tennessee score 27 points. So I feel like I don't know how to play this game. I don't see how I stack it unless I'm literally going with Parker Washington and Jameson Williams and Willie Walls as my wide receivers.
Doc, just call me the Grinch today. I'm not seeing it. I think that urban legend, I don't even know where folks can get. James Cook had the best running game since probably O.J. goddamn Simpson. That was an anomaly. It was a complete, total anomaly. Nobody's running against the Cowboys like that. Nobody did. Nobody did. Philly didn't do it. Seattle didn't do it. Washington didn't do it. Carolina didn't do it. Nobody's done it. You got one guy who played out his mind, and all of a sudden, you can run on the Cowboys. Show me who's done it. I'll wait, Walls, while you pull that stat together because you're going to have to get it out of your fourth point of contact. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. For that reason, when the Dolphins are playing well, they're balanced and able to run the ball and get the play action going. I think when they struggle is when they can't do those two things. And I think for that reason, this week they'll struggle. I hope Tyreek Hill plays because he gives them a shot. If he doesn't, it's not going to be that same thing we seen where they was able to get away with a game without him. They'll look bad, and this game will look bad. The Cowboys were embarrassed. They're going to get it going, and I think that this game is going to probably be lopsided. Over.
Wow. All right. Willie Walls. Any more comments on that, or are you ready to move on?
I just think that the way you beat Dallas is running ball. I'm not saying most of it is not but I'm just telling you, you can run against Cowboys, especially since they lost that middle linebacker. The whole point that I'm saying is this. I don't like this game because I think the prices are more than what I want to pay. So I will let other people tank their lineups by paying up. Like I said, so this is not a play for me. But I'm just saying,
where Doc is saying where it could shoot out, we could see
right.
that where as a scenario there, I don't like it if it's going to depend on their ability to run the ball against Dallas and just run them over. And I don't think physical as Buffalo. They won't have the weather and they won't have the referees. I just don't think.
Yeah.
All right. Danny Herrera asks Mayfield or Fields. Swame, Mayfield or Fields?
Mayfield. It's not close for me.
Willie?
Fields. Fields got more upside. He just went off. I'm telling you, how this thing worked. What will happen is Rachaad White will rush for 3 touchdowns and Baker throw for 1. And then, Fields had 2 subpar games. And I just think Fields, for me, if you had to put my life on the line and you had a gun, who got more upside going against this team with Arizona playing in the cold, I'm going with Mr. Fields.
I'm going to give Baker an 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to give Fields a 9. I'll go Baker by just a little.
I'm going to have to play him because you guys love him, but I'm going to play him under protest.
All right, but if you win big, we want 10% each.
Just like you played what's the name on the protest for Buffalo. You played him on the protest, but it worked out.
I played him on the protest. Doc, 10% is steep, but if you win big, you're in there for sure.
All right, just because we're dropping the knowledge and you're receiving it.
Y'all can split the 10% then.
Man, he got cheap on us, didn't he, Willie? All right, let's get to the stacks here. Willie, who's your stack of the weekend?
I gave it to you earlier. Flacco, Njoku, and Cooper. That's my stack That's my stack. My $100 stack for this week.
Swami, who's your $100 stack?
Like always, Doc. First, let me comment on his stack. He already took a little cheap way out, but what I do like about it is that he picked Flacco. And as critical as I am of Joe Flacco from those heartbreaking days of the Ravens when he wasn't, winning and he was throwing picks and having followed, Steelers do all types of. Anyway, so he played those same Chicago Bears, and even though he threw 3 picks and he was Joe Flacco most of the game, the one that I know, he still threw up for 374 yards and had a couple of touchdowns. He still threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against the same tough Jacksonville Jaguars defense that y'all talking about that my Baker Mayfield has to play against this week. What's my point? My point is when he played tough defenses, he went for over 300 yards and threw for 3 touchdowns. And I don't like him at all. Some kind of way when this guy who's barely throwing for 200 yards and barely having 1 touchdown when he plays tough defenses, is all kind of confidence in him. So I get the Flacco. I don't get the other guys not doing it, even against tough defenses. Joe Flacco, they pulled him out of a Kroger supermarket. He threw for 374 yards. Your quarterback hasn't had 374 yards in 3 games. None.
All right, so who's your stack, Swami?
All right. My stack obviously is my guy, Baker Mayfield. But I won't just give you that one because I think the people can see that one. It's a little high. I won't do that to you. There's no Willie Walls here. Might be my partner.
Yeah, but that's why I'm going with Flacco. And he's going to put more egg on your face when he plays against Houston. He will put more egg on your face.
Like always, he's done it for 3 games in a row. Everybody can see it. I got a call from Stevie Wonder. He's took Flacco. You're not doing anything special. Who I'm going with this week, Doc, is I'm taking that guy, Geno Smith, who your buddy talked about earlier, and give me Walker and give me Lockett to go with it. Now, that's a Swami says.
That is a Swami stack. That is a Swami. All right, I'm going to give you.
Go ahead.
I like the Baker stack with Baker and Evans and Otten. I do. I like the Fields stack there with Fields and DJ Moore. I love that stack.
Add Komet to that, Doc.
Add Komet. I'll give you 2 more ridiculous stacks. Just, you want to light money on fire stacks. One, I like Nick Mullins with Ty Chandler and Justin Jefferson. I can see that.
Yeah,
and now this is the stack, the poo-poo of the week where Willie starts gagging. Taylor Heineke, Bijan Robinson, Drake London stack. I know. This is the take the $3 and just poof it up like that.
No.
Here's why. Taylor Heineke's 4,800. If we think Bijan's gonna have a better Ricky Mill and Drake and the Colts can't stop a number one receiver, I can get those three guys and then just put everybody else who's expensive in my lineup. Try it. See if you like it.
If that game is a game theory where that game could shoot out, I agree that London's in a good spot. Even though he only had 3, targets, I think last week. But I think that was mostly because of the weather and the way that the game, that little bit of storm.
That was a monsoon, Swami.
They had a tropical storm in Carolina. But the one that concerns me about your stack, or the two, would be Post Ritter and his decision making in that game. And then for some reason, Robinson, I don't know what he did to these guys. He's parked in somebody's parking spot. He's ate the last piece of pie. They have brought Cordell Patterson in there.
Look, I'm not saying to do it, but you know how there's like 287,000 people in a contest?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you might be a little nuts. This is the little nutty lineup.
Okay.
They don't call.
It's viable though, Doc. They do have the ability to explode. So
this is the stupid lineup.
Do you know what Heineke's middle name is?
Suck.
Medicine ball, because he throws up a lot of medicine balls. And the one thing I'll say about the Colts defense, they are a hawking defense. Their defense make plays. So
I'm not saying this is good. I'm just saying it's the $3 in a dream lineup. Now Adam Rivera.
It's a vomit stat. I get it.
All right. So Adam Rivera says, why Herbert over Roschon if there's no Foreman?
Because Roschon is not getting the touches.
I would probably say Roschon over Herbert, because Roschon is getting all of the targets out of the backfield, and he's doing a little bit more with his touches than anybody else in that backfield, and that would include Herbert. So I would go Roschon.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't touch it. If Foreman not playing, I wouldn't touch it because you don't know where it's going.
You just said you liked Herbert in every lineup.
I did, but I thought about it.
Tyrone or Willie.
Yeah, I know. I thought about it. Now I thought about it. Because why would I need to go there when I could go to Hubbard that I know is going to get the ball 20 times?
I agree with that.
So
the one thing about Kmet that's interesting is Kmet catches touchdowns. If Fields has a good game, usually Kmet has the good game too.
Right. Agreed. But you know what I'm saying, Doc? That's the reason I thought about it. Because Rachaad White gets 20-something touches. You got Singletary that's going to get 20-something touches. So why would I go to a backfield that I know if Foreman plays, he gets the touches. But if it doesn't play, it's Russian roulette.
Singletary gets so many touches. All right, Swami says the pick of the week. Who do you got, my friend?
Sticking with my guy Tyler Lockett this week. Swami says, now I'm expecting a little bit more back and forth in this game. I think we can get it. And for that reason, I think Lockett could, emerge as one of those plays. Now, I am cautious about him because there's a little bit of uncertainty around the game and his QB. But I think I'm gonna stick with my guns this week.
You're talking off the side of your neck. You just gave us that stat, and now you're saying some uncertainty.
I am, sir, but I'm being transparent and open with the.
You're being more ass parent. You're being ass parent, sir.
Well, we'll see.
Is it Odell and Oliver? I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know who he is. He's talking.
I named him Oliver. Now that's going to stick.
All right, Willie. Who's the balls to the walls call from Willie Walls?
See, last week, who was it? It was my man from the Rams, and he came through. This week,
it was
Jameson Williamson. Jameson Williamson and Kate Otten.
Stop stealing my guys. Oh my God, I like both those guys. I like them both. They're both in my lineups this week.
Pick thief and a chalk board. My goodness.
Whoa. Jameson Williamson is not chalk,
You
sir.
heard Doc talking about Jameson all week. First look, radio, everything that he.
No. I've already had that. He is not chalk.
Pooh.
Look it up. You look up Jameson Williams, see what it is. 2% is chalk?
No, I
sir.
said Doc talking about him all week, and then here you come.
But whoa. I think me and Doc just like we like Fields. Because Doc likes somebody, I can't like him.
No, Doc, you see what he did.
And then I gave you some stats.
I'm very upset about the Jameson Williams thing. I called that sucker on Wednesday night on first look. I called it.
Exactly.
Called that sucker early in the week. All right, I'll give you one more because Willie stole my guys in the Christmas spirit there. He stole my dudes. I'll give you one dude that nobody's talking about, Swame. How about in that Seattle-Tennessee game? How about a bring back with Traylon Burks? I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe I had too much eggnog. I don't know. Maybe it's too much eggnog. See? Check this out. Brian Freeman just said, how about Burks? He's sneaky. Look at that. We're same wavelength.
I like Burks as much as I like Williams, so you good. I would play Burke and Ernie before I play Traylon Burks. No.
Hey, listen, I'll let you have Jameis. I'll take Washington. Washington for Jacksonville.
Oh, Swame's other guy. Okay. All right.
Well, he said
Parker Washington goes to Williams. I get Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
I'm saying Williams. Jameson Williams. What's up with that? All right. I love it.
I like
All right.
Better pick.
You
I
good?
just like what Lawrence.
I agree. All right. Swami and Willie, I wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. I hope Santa hooks you both up. Enjoy the time with your family. And good luck tomorrow. To everybody out there, saying Merry Christmas to you and good luck in the games. Hopefully somebody out here who's listening is making $1 million. And then don't forget your friends Doc, Willie, and Swami, and we'll just take 5%. Is that fair? Of the $1 million, is that fair?
That's fair, Doc. T-shirt, hat, we'll take it.
Exactly. All right, for Doc, Willie, and Swami, be well and take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.